All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's poppin'? World War III might be on the doorstep, and instead of, doing something rational like buying canned food, I'm gonna make a YouTube video talking about it instead, because hey, it's the 21st century. Let's talk about Russia invading Ukraine. I'm getting quiet now. Lay low when you reach some pipe now. Making out stack the bread. All right, ladies and gentlemen, jokes aside, obviously, I hope this entire situation has a peaceful resolution. That being said, I woke up to article after article basically being like, Americans should leave Ukraine, invasion imminent. So I figured we would talk about it, just considering if this does pop off, it's probably going to affect everybody in one way or another. White House warns that Russia could invade Ukraine within days, urges Americans to leave. Usually this is like the last thing that the American government wants to announce, at least from my understanding. Saying everybody get out, we've lost control is not something that they like to admit. It's just nuts to me that this entire situation boils down to like Putin just kind of wants Ukraine. Obviously there's a lot more stuff going on, but like the entire world is just kind of waiting on the whim of Putin if he decides to do it or not. I understand there's a lot more reasoning to his decision, but it's always nuts to me that like most of history just boils down to the entirety of the world waiting on one person to make a decision. Seriously though, if this does happen, I do know that there's currently a lot of US troops in Eastern Europe to like help cause peace or something. I don't really know why they're there. Apparently they're not going to help fight for Ukraine. They're just kind of there to calm tension. But regardless, this was probably going to get out of control, or will get out of control, if Russia does decide to pull the trigger and invade Ukraine. I just feel like the last 2 years have been nuts, dude. Like, honestly, COVID, we had the entire thing like last year with the recovery from COVID, Afghanistan. Now we're sitting here on the verge of World War III because Russia's trying to take back Ukraine. What is this, the Soviet Union in the 90s? Any Americans still in Ukraine should leave immediately, the White House said Friday, as it warned that Russia could potentially launch an invasion of the country any days now, even during the Olympics. Any American in Ukraine should leave as soon as possible, and in any event in the next 24 to 48 hours, President Joe Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, said in a press briefing. Those remarks echoed Biden's own warning Thursday for U.S. citizens in Ukraine to leave now. I know listening to the government isn't necessarily, a strong suit of the American people. That being said, if you're just chilling in Ukraine and you haven't already thought about leaving, you definitely like to live on the edge, bro. Because obviously things are kind of taking a turn for the worse now. It looks like they're really going to invade any day now. But this tension and the possibility of this has been going on for like a couple weeks. If you're an American in Ukraine, you don't have any business being in Ukraine and you can leave, you probably should have left a little bit ago. Like, if you're waiting till right now, the writing's been on the wall. Obviously, I feel most horrible for the people that are from Ukraine, or like people that can't just hop on an international flight and get out of there. Those aren't cheap. I feel especially bad for the people that just want nothing to do with this, dude. Like, 90% of the Ukrainian people don't want to be invaded. Who would want to be invaded? And on top of that, dude, it's like war is just not anything anyone should ever have to go through. Seriously, they've already been fighting a somewhat of a civil war, I believe, like a border conflict. Obviously, a full-scale invasion is much worse, dude. And the craziest thing about all this, once again, is just all of this is resting on, like, individuals making a decision. I know that's all of human history, but how nuts to think that, like, all right, all of us are sitting here vibing, watching YouTube. Somewhere out there is Putin right now, and he's just literally got, like, the balls of the world in his hand, and everyone's just like, hey, please don't start this world war. And he's like, nah, kind of want to. And they're like, hey, come on, man. Like, please don't. And he's like, yeah, but like, I just want Ukraine. Like, I just want it. This is a very different situation and things could go crazy, Biden said during an interview with NBC News' Lester Holt. On Saturday, Biden will hold a one-on-one call with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. A White House official told CNBC that French President Emmanuel Macron will also speak with Putin that day, CNBC has learned. Sullivan noted that the U.S. is not certain that that Putin has made final decision to invade Ukraine, but it may well happen soon. All right, so obviously I hope that this phone call, calms things down. They decide not to invade Ukraine. But stick with me in meme land for a moment, dude. What if this is basically just like a Discord call where they're just going to talk trash, and if, Putin's the better trash talker in this situation than he invades Ukraine. Like, they just get in there. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. All right, let's begin. Your mom is such a dumpster fire, bro. I swear I'm going to take a big old dookie all over the Ukrainian battlefield, dude. I'm going to wipe the floor with this. It's going to be my country by the end of the day. And it's like, all right, Putin, thank you. Thank you. Joe, your response. Oh, yeah, look at this Russian guy thinking he's some type of warmonger. When was the last time Russia won a war, Putin? Okay, World War II, you're nearing 100 years, pal. You might want to tread carefully. Obviously, they're both going to get on the phone call and, like, you know, be all politician. I just think it'd be way more interesting if you had just a trash talking match to decide it instead. Probably also good that I'm not in charge, considering World War III is on the line, and you should probably be more careful than just turning it into like a rap battle-esque situation. But hey, imagine all the presidents of the world just getting on a good Call of Duty group chat and talking it out. That'd be horrible. But I would pay to watch the content, you know? We can't deny that it would absolutely be entertaining. Jokes aside, I really hope this has a peaceful resolution. You know, the one reason I'm kind of joking about it is because it is really scary to think about the fact that, like, Russia could just invade Ukraine and potentially have, like, this insane worldwide conflict spark from that. You know, I hope everything works out, and for anybody that's in Ukraine, I really hope that you guys are able to stay safe. I'm sure that, like, being in this situation is making everybody basically crap themselves, and I would be too, dude. If I thought one of the biggest militaries in the world was about to invade where I lived, I'd be freaking out. So for everybody their sake, I do hope that it is very peacefully resolved quickly, you know, for the good of everyone in Ukraine and the rest of the world. Russia has spent months building up its military presence at various points along the Ukrainian border. More than 100,000 Russian troops are currently stationed there. They've now positioned 80% of the forces required for a full-scale invasion, and Western intelligence officials confirmed to NBC. An invasion, if it occurs, was previously expected to come after the close of the Winter Olympics in order to avoid a conflict with China, Russia's ally. I love how Putin's excuse for all of this has just been like, no, it's a training exercise. Call me crazy, right? You know, I'm not in charge of a country, but if you gather 80% of the forces needed to invade a country at various points along a border and then kind of keep hinting at an invasion, why would they assume it's just a training exercise, dude? And even then, like, all right, put this in perspective. Let's say that you have a mortal enemy, right, who hates you. He hates you. He wants to take your house from you and make it his house. And then all of a sudden, he and a bunch of dudes that also hate you and want to take your house start lining up across the street. And, like, you know, they're oh, we're not going to take your house. We're just going to live across the street and look at your house. Obviously, Ukraine has every right to be freaking out because, like, if you have an entire invasion force on your border and they keep saying we might invade you, you're probably thinking you're going to get invaded. I don't understand how Putin expects tensions to ease by, like, keeping more troops there. I think that's why, you know, this is my opinion. I'm not an expert. I think he wants to invade Ukraine. I think he's going to do it. Obviously, I hope for a peaceful resolution, but, like, I don't know if you want a peaceful resolution, why you would move more troops to the border that everyone's freaking out about where there's troops on the border. Whatever happens next, the West is more united than it's been in years, Sullivan said. Biden earlier Friday held a video call with several NATO leaders to discuss the Kremlin's escalation of the Russia-Ukrainian border. On it, the leaders agreed on the importance of a coordinated effort to deter further Russian aggression against Ukraine, including their readiness to impose massive consequences and severe economic costs on Russia should it choose military escalation, and to continue reinforcing the defensive posture on NATO's eastern flank, according to a White House readout of the call. Other countries, including Britain and Israel, have also urged their citizens to leave Ukraine. All right. When other countries start saying it's also time to dip, it goes to show the U.S. isn't being dramatic by saying that. You know, I don't know a whole lot about NATO. I don't, you know, I'm not an expert on it by any means. That being said, if Putin's crazy enough to just go invade Ukraine with 100,000 soldiers and take it, right? I don't really know if severe economic sanctions are going to teach him his lesson. You know, I think that they help, obviously, like, deter stuff from happening. Don't get it twisted. I don't think they're absolutely useless, but isn't Russia already under economic sanctions? If their response to the first round of them was to, like, invade Ukraine, I don't know how much more of them's gonna do. I feel like, you know, I'm not an expert here or anything. This kind of feel like Putin's testing to see what would happen if he just invaded a country, you know, and I will say it'll be interesting to see NATO's response. I'm not an expert. I have no clue how I would reply to any of this if I was in their position. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that they're dumb or this isn't the right path. I'm just saying I'm not really following the logic of, like, hey, this guy's going to invade a country, so we'll really hurt his economy. You know, I don't know, man. That's just my opinion. Regardless, all this stuff is absolutely insane. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. I just felt like giving you guys an update. I've been keeping an eye on it for a while. I hadn't made a video on it, but now that America's officially saying get out because stuff's looking like it's about to pop off, I figured I would just go over some of it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of the video. Press the like button if you enjoyed. If you think that they're not going to do anything, comment. If you do, let me know. Beyond that, though, subscribe, turn on notifications. I post videos like this every day. In the description, you'll find a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, to the intro song, or you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout to get a discount on G Fuel and help me out. Last but not least, there's 2 more things you could do to really help me out. I have a show on Spotify that you can check out. Link will be in the top of the description. Feel free to go give it a listen. I would very much appreciate it, and it would help me out. And the last link in the description is going to be a link to the merch store. As you can tell, the merch is on screen now. It's the coolest thing to ever exist. You should definitely get yourself one. And like I said, the link to do that is in the bottom of the description. But on that note, guys, that'll do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And hopefully, I will see each and every single one of you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.